the antebellum era and during the Reconstruction of the South. Scarlett O'Hara has been confronted with the news that taxes are owed on her beloved home Tara, and there's a buyer. Jonas Wilkerson, ex-overseer of Tara, led us into the musings of a woman, one that does not conform to the social norms that is prescribed for the gender of her period. This is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. There must be some way out. There must be someone, somewhere, who has the money she could borrow. Money couldn't just dry up and blow away. Someone had to have the money. I'll get the money from Rhett. I'll sell him the diamond ear bulbs. Or I'll borrow the money and let him keep the ear bulbs until I can pay him back. She would pay the taxes and laugh in Jonas Wilkerson's face. But close on that happy thought came the relentless knowledge. It is not just for this year that I need the tax money. There's next year and all the years of my life. If I pay this time, they'll raise the taxes so high. Next time, till they drive me out. All my life, as long as I live, I'll be afraid they'll get me somehow. I'll be scared and scrambling for money and working myself to death, only to see my work go for nothing and my cotton stolen. Just borrowing the $300 for the taxes will only be a stopgap. What I need is to get out of this fix for good, so I can go to sleep at night without worrying about what's going to happen to me tomorrow, the next month, and the next year. She thought of Rhett. The hot night in Atlanta, close to the end of the siege, and felt again the heat on her arm. I want you more than I wanted any other woman. I have waited longer for you than I ever waited for another woman. I'll marry him, and then I'll never have to bother about money again. Oh, blessed thought, sweeter than the hope of heaven, never to worry about money again, to know that Tara was safe and the family was fed and clothed, never have to bruise herself against stone walls. She felt old. The afternoon's events had drained her of all the feeling. First, the startling news about the taxes, and then her murderous rage at Jonas Wilkerson. No, there's no emotion left in her. If all her capacity to feel had been utterly exhausted, something in her would have protested against the plan taken form in her mind. For she hated Rhett as she hated no other person in the world. She could not feel. She could only think, and her thoughts were very practical. I said some terrible things to him that night, but I can make him forget. Butter will melt in my mouth when I'm around him. I will make him think that I have always loved him and was just upset and frightened that night. Oh, men are so conceited when they believe anything that flatters them. I mustn't let him dream what straits we're in. Nor, not till I got him. He mustn't know, even suspected, how poor we are. If he knew it was his money I wanted and not himself, and after I've married him, he'll have to help us. He can't let his wife's people starve. After he married him, a memory rang a bell. She remembered again that night how she asked him if he was proposing to her. My dear, I am not a married man. Suppose he still was not a married man. Suppose that despite all her charms and wiles, he refused to marry her. Suppose, oh terrible thought, suppose he completely forgot about me and was chasing after some other woman. If he's forgotten me, I'll make him remember me. I'll make him want me again. And if he would not marry her, but still wanted her, there is a way to get the money. After all, he had once asked her to be his mistress. She fought a decisive battle with the three binding ties of her soul: the memory of Helen, the teachings of her religion, and her love for Ashley.